r/askReddit. NSFW. What is the worst thing you've ever seen or heard in a game of truth or dare? When I was about 15 years old, my HS soccer team had a co-ed, girls guys team, spaghetti dinner that turned into a co-ed sleepover. Maybe about 6 guys and 5 girls. We ended up taking a bottle of really cheap Mr. Boston vodka from this kid's parents and all of us began drinking much faster than 15-year-olds should. I was begging to feel pretty nauseous but was determined to stay in the game of truth or dare that we had started. I was then dared to kiss the bare ass cheek of one of the more crew chicks on the girls team. As I pressed my lips to her cheek, she thought it would be hilarious to grab the back of my head and rip us right in my face. The heat and smell were too much for my stomach to bear, and as I pulled away I barfed all over her back and ass. Haha, she totally deserved it. I got dared to use a zipline that nobody had likely touched in decades. So we climbed up a mountain while wasted in the middle of the night, found that my friend was not bullshitting and that it actually did exist, used our zip on it and sailed over a 1500 featuring drop, and then the thought occurred to me that I had no way of getting back, and I had not even brought a flashlight with me, and had absolutely no knowledge of part of the mountain I was on. So I basically stood in place for 7 hours or so. I don't know if that was the worst, but it was definitely the most stupid, especially considering that the whole point of the game was to get with some girls who were no longer in a partying mood after I disappeared into the night. LOL. Fucking idiot. He actually did it. Alright ladies, let's go back to the cabin. Who's up for some naked twister? This is precisely what happened. One less dude to drink what was left of the beers, and a higher pussy to dong ratio. One of my mates said he had his cock pierced and nobody believed him, as he'd sometimes exaggerate or make up stories. To prove it, he put a straw through the piercing, and then another of my mates was dared to drink his drink through the cock straw. It was hilarious and weird, and both parties regretted it immediately. Was playing truth or dare with a few friends, my best friend, and my best friend's wife. When they married, they were both virgins by choice, from a traditional household. We're having fun and it comes to my turn. I ask my best friend's wife truth or dare, she answers truth. My friend and I would always joke about our so's despising anal sex, and being disgusted by it, so I asked as a joke, have you ever had anal sex? Yes. She answers her husband turns bright red and says no, we haven't. The two leave shortly after. Turns out she was a traditional virgin but had lost her anal virginity back in high school. We didn't really talk after that. One dare was to bake cookies whilst nude, but then we were out of sugar, so a follow-up dare required a second person going to the neighbor's door in underwear to ask for a cup of sugar. It worked and the cookies were delicious. Grad student neighbors didn't even bat an eye. They were probably like those undergrad dumb fucks. Oh well, back to studying. Man, life sucks. Source, was a grad student, hated it, was jealous of undergrads and their shenanigans. Edit, holy shit, I've been gilded. All that suffering in grad school has finally been worth it. Thank you, whoever you are. Fairly tame but seasonally timely. In high school, a group of friends were playing Todd drunk after a party at my house. One of my friends had a crush on a girl and was trying hard to get with her, so when it was her turn to ask him, he suavely stated dare. She told him to put one of the lights adorning the nearby Christmas tree into his dickhole. He did. She was disgusted and ended up loudly hooking up with another friend in an adjacent room, like soul-crushingly loud, while he sat on the couch nursing his burnt meatus. 'Tis the season, I guess. If sticking a hot light bulb in your dickhole is fairly tame to you, I don't want to know what you find crazy. One time I was dared to kiss this girl and I passed because I was in a long-going relationship with a girl I really love. 3 years, and so I did this instead. I poured really hard rum on my hand and lit it. I had to keep it lit for as long as I could. Once it got too hot to handle, I had to put it out. Part of the dare though was to put it out with the watermelon next to us. so I proceeded to punch it open with my flaming fist and stick my hand in it for 3 long annoying sticky hours. At age 18, while at a friend's house digging around looking for a lighter, he finds an adult toy in his, single, dad's room. It was one of those hot pink, sparkly, dildos with the rabbit thing on it. Something that didn't really seem like a guy toy, and it was in the spare nightstand, so we assumed maybe an old girlfriend's or something. Fast forward a few weeks later, his dad is out of town. There are a few of us over playing truth or dare, and I dare him to do something to his dad's dildo. At first his face turned 10 shades of red, embarrassed in front of everyone else, but then he manned up, grabbed it with a Ziploc bag worn like a glove, then rubbed some cut open habanero peppers all over it. This was a Friday night and his dad was supposed to be back Saturday. Saturday night rolls around and he, our other friend, and myself are all at his house, quietly, as the one sneaking in, and I had been drinking. This was roughly 8-ish. As the other friend and I stood in the driveway, we hear the most god-awful, blood curdling scream. The type of scream that sounds like someone being murdered. We dash in just in time to meet our friend in the hallway as he flies into his dad's room. His mom, dad's ex-wife, is in the floor butt naked, curled up in a ball screaming her head off. Apparently his mom and dad had been screwing around behind the family's back. A hospital trip followed, and after spending the night in the air, not knowing WTF happened, they ended up coming out in the open, getting back together, and then remarried. That was 12 years ago and they are still together. For their wedding present I gave them a jar of habaneros that they still don't understand to this day. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. I don't know what to say. I feel like I just won an award and didn't have my speech ready. Thank you. Ryan, if you are out there, your mom's burning bush has become mildly famous. I never knew Reddit liked a good fiery love story. I was at a truth or dare party in college. Everyone pays $5 to get in and gets the same allotment of Monopoly money. You bet people to do things and accept bets, and whoever has the most at the end of the night got to keep the door. Greatest party ever. I just dared girls to make out with me all night until I ran out of money, so I had to accept a couple dares. Someone dared this other guy to eat a zebra cake off my ass, and dared me to drop Tro and allow him to. I figured, I'm not eating it, no big deal. It wasn't that terrible, but it did get my ass all sticky. I also felt like I couldn't really complain, because of what the other guy had to do. It wasn't really a dare, but a drunken friend said he'd show us how much of a man he was. In quick succession he chugged about 250 milliliters of Jack Daniels, snorted a line of salt and poured vinegar into one eye and squeezed a lemon in the other. Everybody laughed at him because he had to run to the bathroom crying to wash his eyes. I think he was trying to do a cowboy shot, except our version is you take a shot, snort a line of salt, get punched in the face, then squeeze a lemon into your eye. A girl at a party I once went to got dared to sit on a small lava lamp, as in, sit on it if you get what I mean. Anyway, this thing was on, and hot. Poor girl sat for 2 seconds and jumped right back up. Turned out she gave herself burns on the inside of her lady parts. Fuck that. She did, for apparently 2 seconds. Oh god, I had a friend, more of a girl, who followed me around a lot that I felt sorry for, who was sitting next to me on the school bus in freshman year. The bus was loud as usual, but there are sometimes those weird lulls in conversation that happen all at once. So there's this random weird moment of silence where the 1 or 2 people talking are suddenly heard by everyone with perfect clarity. Weird girl was asking me the strangest things I've done sexually, and I said I wasn't going to answer that. She said she'd go first and told me she puts peanut butter on her clit for her cat to lick off. Yeah, she said it during that conversation lull on the bus. Everyone heard her. I watched her high school life crumble before me. It was terrifying and awful, and I didn't know how to stop it or help her. Her parents were kind of shitty, so when the serious bullying started, they didn't care to move her to a different school. And even if they had, in our county it wasn't that uncommon to have friends at all 4 or 5 of the major high schools before they graduated. Nothing short of moving counties would really have helped her escape it. She was peanut butter girl for the rest of her high school career. I don't think she graduated. I heard she dropped out, but I left that school by mid-junior year, so I couldn't say for sure.